Hey, how's it going? I wanted to hop on today and talk to you about planning. And I had something come up in my personal life as a parent that made me really think about this last week. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Last week, my husband and I decided to take our kids to what's called in Portland the Zoo Lights. So Zoo Lights is where the Portland Zoo they decorate this beautiful, the whole zoo is decorated in Christmas lights, and you can walk through and see it at night. And so I in my mind, I said, let's do this Thursday. The weather's nice. There's no rain. We're gonna go take the kids up there. However, I had a meeting run a little long, and we didn't buy tickets ahead of time, and we were sort of winging it. So then by the time I got home, it was getting a little later, and my husband said, well, now the kids are gonna be hungry, so let's feed them somewhere. And then we got up there, and by the time we got up there, there was a sign as you get close to the zoo that says, lot full, use overflow lots. So then we drive to the overflow lots, and they say, overflow lots are full. And we're in the car, and my husband's like, look online to buy tickets, like while we're in the car. And so I'm looking online, and it's like 5 tips to have a great Zoo Lights experience. And it's like all about plan ahead and arrive early. Only I didn't look at those things before I went. And so we ended up having to tell our kids, like, we're not going to go tonight, because by the time we would have gotten in there, it would have been their bedtime. And I know the experience would not have been great. And so, of course, then there's just like tears and breakdowns and why I wanted to do this. And I'm just sitting in the car with people yelling at me and just like, hey guys, we're going to change it. And like finally the kids, like we get them to calm down. We bribe them with like, we'll go home and you can watch a show. They don't usually get to watch any shows on weeknights. And I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking a lot about how could I have made this night more successful? And it really comes down to planning. So I, by nature, am moderately resistant to planning, which a lot of people find to be like, blows them away. They're like, what? You seem so, you're so organized, or you plan all these things. But the fact is, I only plan more now because I have found how helpful it is, and I've seen the benefit. So even in my business in the past, when I owned a coffee roastery for years, my plan was to grow revenue. Let's grow next year. And we're going to get crazy and put a percentage that we want to grow. But beyond that, I didn't always break down all the steps I was going to try to actually grow my business. And so what happened was year after year, I'd be there feeling just like, we didn't maybe hit our goal at the end of the year when I looked at it. However, when I learned the framework of setting plans and like in shorter increments even, and really getting down to like, let's try some different things. How do we want to try to grow this revenue? What are the plans that we want to look at? And becoming much better at planning, my business really started to take off, and we started to get a ton of traction. And I find this that oftentimes as parents and as business owners, we look at someone else's business, or we look at other parents and we think, God, they've just really got their shit together, and I'm trying here, but it's tough. And it comes down to like, it's okay. It's not something that's intuitive to all of us. And it's often just a skill that we need to learn. And so if you can learn how to plan better, if you can learn how to have these, to take that like 15 minutes is all sometimes it takes for, especially in parenting, to plan ahead for a day, that it actually gives you more fun and more flexibility and more freedom on the day that something comes up, versus always saying, I want to leave myself open to what might come. I don't know what I'm going to feel in the mood for, so therefore I'm resistant to planning. That was often me. I didn't want to be confined, both in my personal life and my business, because I was like, well, what if? And so I was always planning. I didn't plan because I didn't know what the future held. But by doing that, I just gave away all control of having any say in what did happen. So I would just encourage you, now is the perfect time in your business to really take a look at, what do you want 2018 to become? What do you want this to happen? And I'm going to tell you a secret, that the people who typically move their businesses forward the fastest don't just plan once a year. They plan at least 4 times a year, quarterly, for big high-level planning. They plan every week what they're going to do. They sit down every day and take a look. So they go from high-level plans to long-term, and they break it down, and they keep breaking it down to ensure that they are constantly moving forward. The same thing applies in our personal life as parents. If we are trying to do different things for our families or for our kids, we've got to look at a long-term. But I think especially for us as parents, sometimes just having a little bit of foresight in terms of the next month, 2 months, sometimes a little longer, planning, the bigger it is, the further ahead we have to plan. Big vacations usually require more time ahead. Smaller things can be a little more last minute. But what I find is that for my family, especially, I've got one kid who he just gets frustrated pretty easily. He likes things a certain way. And when I plan ahead, it makes the whole day so much smoother with him. So even like if we're just going on a day trip, if the night before I decide to pack a lunch so we can get up and go, even if we just talk about it the night before what we're planning to do, so we're on the same page and we can get up and get out of the house quickly, rather than like chilling out, having some breakfast, drinking our coffee, and then being like, what should we do? And then this example, like I said, with the zoo lights. If you plan ahead and you say, hey, I'm going to look online, I'm going to buy a ticket, I'm going to plan that we get there. Hey, Michael, thanks for hopping on. It's so much more effective. So I really encourage you to start honing in your skills of planning, both for your personal life and for your business, because I think you too will find a lot greater success in both. And if you're resistant like me, I get it. But usually after a bit of time, you'll start seeing the benefits. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Hop on the live, shoot me a message. I love talking about this stuff, and I love sharing with people that it's not my natural state to be super planned ahead, but that I actually love it now because I know the benefits. So let me know how your planning's going. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.